Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, I guess, depending on where you're at in the world today. We've got a great show. We've got Dexter Vines back on for our second round of an interview and an art sale. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a fan of comic art fans or things all comic art related, and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would encourage you to do that. We every week, we have like 4 or 5 shows going on here all the time, talking about comic art, promoting the whole comic art hobby, and of course, selling art here and there every week. It's always a lot of fun around here. But I saw some people in the chat early. Marcus, and number one Marvel fan, Jeff Wedding, my Star Wars collector, one of many in the chat early on. And but I don't want to leave Dexter in the green room. So let me swing this thing around and bring Dexter in. Hey, Dex, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
It's good to have you back on the show. I think
good
when
to
we did it
be
last
back.
time, it was in the spring still, right?
Yeah. So now we're moving into the fall. So it's always good getting into hoodie weather.
I was half tempted to put a hoodie on before the show, believe it or not. I got one, but I'm still in Florida, so it hasn't quite hit that yet. But I down here, now that I've been here a year and a half, it feels cold when it hits like 65. Back when I was in Ohio, I'd still be in shorts. But
yeah, it's pretty warm in the daytime. It's getting chilly at nighttime now.
Exactly. So hey, let's see. When did this last, it was pre-Hero, so I got to see it. Heroes. How was the Hero show for you?
Heroes is awesome. That's still one of my favorite shows every year. More one of those comic, central artist central shows. Yeah. And I always bump into people I hadn't seen for a while. I bumped into Laniel Yu came up, Steve McNiven came. So yeah, I got to see some friends I hadn't seen, people I worked with before I ain't seen in a minute. So yeah, it was always good times. Always good times at Heroes.
I ran into McNiven there too. I'd never met him before. I got to talk to him during the art auction. Pretty cool guy.
Cool,
very down to earth.
Yeah. Because I tell people all the time. I love to tell people, it's like I inked Steve's very first work at CrossGen, and to see where he started, and then to see where he is today, it's amazing to see his growth and what he's become over all these years. But yeah, it's been awesome to kind of be at the start and kind of see it happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember. I think we talked about that in the last show too, where you got to ink some of his first stuff at CrossGen, and then of course you got to ink him, over at Marvel when he was, really kind of came into his own, and then you look at him now, and yeah, he that's cool. I mean, as rough as CrossGen the experience was for some people, I mean, it did spawn a lot of great artists, and
yeah, definitely.
I mean, and a lot of it was an interesting experiment.
I always say what could have been, have been.
And I still marvel. I've actually handled a couple of CrossGen art pages since the time I had you on, and every one of them, it's like if you put 10 of those together, you'd have a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, that paper was it was like 4-ply. It was crazy. So,
man, let's see. I saw this posted in here before the show even started from World of Wildstorm. He's like wondering if there will be any old school Wildstorm cards being offered. No, I'm sorry, there are none of that, World of Wildstorm. But you kind of, I was kind of looking through some stuff. You did do some card art for Wildstorm early in your career.
Yeah, my very first professional job was inking a Wildstorm card over Joe Phillips, who helped me get into comics. And it was is it Void, the metal lady?
I had that. I actually had a list up in front of me, and I think I closed.
I believe that's her name. Actually, I have the card here somewhere, the original work here somewhere. But yeah, my very first work, and I remember when they sent me some comps of the cards and flipping it over, and seeing my name, I was just like, it was like instant high. It's like, oh my God, there's my name in print right there.
Right, but then you were hooked, right? At that point, you see your name on a card or a comic. I mean,
yeah. So,
did you really feel like you'd still be doing it? Almost. Well, it's not 30 years quite yet. 28 years later.
I never thought that far ahead, but at that point I knew. Luckily, I knew people who were close to me who were doing it. So in my mind, that told me I could do it. So I just like, all right, I see people right here doing it, so that means I can do it. So.
Sure. And you kind of got started, in 95. So that's kind of like, Wizards magazine coming into its own. Everything is over, I wouldn't say overhyped, but it's hyped in a way that it was never done in the
comics
60s,
was like
70s,
at
and
its
80s.
it was like a peak hypeness of comics, and with Image coming aboard, and Spawn and Wildcats, and and then Jim Lee right before that, the X-Men selling billions, however many copies it sold, with all the covers, and then the triple gatefold covers, and the first round of the variant covers started coming. People were in the poly bags, and all the gimmicks that came along with comics at that time.
Exactly. I missed out on that because I was after college I stopped collecting until about 97 or so. So from like 89 to 97, I wasn't buying. So I missed out on all that crazy stuff, the holofoils and
Right.
I don't think I'd ever seen I've seen many DPSs, but I don't think I'd seen like a a 3-page spread or a fold out. Like literally like a penthouse or a Playboy when you'd open them. They're so huge. But that was what the 90s was good for. I mean, coming in at that kind of a period, I mean, do you feel, I mean, I don't know, that like it could have continued where the hype and all that stuff was rolling along?
I did. At that point is when I first started going to Comic-Con, and when San Diego was still a comic book convention. People don't remember that these days now. And I got to know a lot of the Wildstorm guys, and gotten going to Jim Lee studio and getting seen behind the scenes there. I was just like, I was hooked. At one point I really wanted to move to San Diego, but I just couldn't do it at the time. But yeah, I thought comics was just the be all end all, Sure. And I still do in a way feel like that. It's what I've been doing my whole adult life, so definitely.
Yeah, it was funny because when I got back into collecting comics, I think I actually started buying Wizard magazine before that because I felt like I'd missed 10 years and I kind of needed to figure out, who are the creators, what are the series that are popular and why. And Wizard was kind of like my intro into getting back into buying books. But we don't really have something like that really in the hobby today. I mean, do you think we need the hype anymore, or is there enough hype out there promoting comics and creators? And and that sort of thing is just it was
it is weird. Wizard did add like a little spice to it, I felt, to the industry back then. Saying the top 10 artists, the top 10 writers, and it added something to to the industry. I think it was just a sign of the times. But yeah, it would be cool if we had something like a Sports Center type deal.
It was like
for
you're
comics.
absolutely right.
The top, the top artists, the top colorist, the inker, well, that would be fun. Some people argue something about. It's always, everybody has their opinion.
We've always got something to argue about in comics and art collecting. I can tell you that. But I get it. There's no focal point, right? I mean, Jason mentions there's a lot of internet hype now. That's true, but it's like all over the place. And because there's guys like me that have a show, and there's got a guy who focuses just on, say, Wolverine books or Spider-Man books or unboxings of this, that, and the other. So there's just there's not a central place where that kind of happens. And that's probably not a bad thing at the end of the day. Then there isn't that one voice that sort of controls the message. I guess a lot more venues, but I don't know.
I felt like, though, it don't seem like, even, I guess it's even weirder now being in the industry as long as I've been in. So it's kind of hard to see things now from the outside. So it doesn't seem like there's big summer events anymore. I remember you used to know who was the team on X-Men. I feel like I can tell you who's the team on X-Men these days. It's like, or X Factor or Superman or Batman. It's just like you instantly knew, who was on the team. But now it just, because the teams change now. It's like the artist will get on a book and do 3 issues and he's off, and then another. So there's no continuity like that.
Yeah, well, I had Dan Jurgens on last Monday, and we were talking about that exact same thing, about why don't you see, like him penciling and George Perez, inking Teen Titans for 2 straight years, right? That doesn't happen anymore.
Right. No.
So there's a definite lack of continuity in comics, and really hard to stay on top of who are the creative teams, what's the storyline, which things should I be following today, and I don't know. I mean, maybe that's kind of part of the, why comics hasn't, why it's in the state that it's in today. I don't know why it's not as popular, because back in the day, it's like, you know, you got Marv Wolfman and Perez on Titans, and it's like, you know, they're going to be on there for many years, and you can get in the story and you're going to keep buying those books. Or if it's you know,
I remember Claremont was writing all the X books, so you felt the continuity when you read from X-Men to X-Force, X Factor, you know, all those books, you know. And I would love to, you know, if I ever got a chance to, you know, put on my editor hat, you know, for a book, I would take that old school approach. It's like, all right, I'm getting a team, you know, this is going to be it. We're going to be on it for, you know, X amount of, you know, time, year, whatever it is, you know. And I would advertise like, this is the X-Men team. People would know about it. You know, the fact that Disney owns Marvel Comics and does, you know, they never advertise on TV. You know, they have all these channels of like, you just free advertising. Hey, go pick up some Marvel Comics, or, you know, Discovery owning, you know, DC, you know, all this stuff. I did one day watching AEW wrestling, saw a commercial for DC Comics. Blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. You know, I was like, wow, it was such straight DC Comics commercial. I was like, wow, how about we get more of that, you know?
Yeah, well, it's a sign of the times. And I think we talked about this last time too. It's like whenever you type in a Marvel or DC characters, you know, you type in Superman, you don't see the original art anymore. You just see pictures of actors who played
for the movies,
you know, and I do it, you know, I do it fairly regularly, and I've always got to go back and edit my search and say comic art,
comics. You're right, I got to add comics in there. You know?
And yeah, it's frustrating. It clearly even the search engines want to push out you know, the pop culture images overhead of that, but that tells them. I mean, the thing is, it's doing that because that's what the fans think about when they think about comics anymore. They think about the films. They don't think about the books and the artists, and it's problematic, unfortunately. For as great you know, last 15 years we've had, and getting to see all of our favorite comic book characters make it to the screen, it's definitely diluted things a bit.
It's been like a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's been great, getting that exposure, but then it just completely kind of forgot the source material, kind of left it behind.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, to me, the Marvel movies have kind of been a little, you know, they haven't been as wonderful as I'd like them to be. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was okay. But it wasn't.
I still haven't seen that. I like the first two, but I haven't seen the third one yet.
Well, then, I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
You won't spoil anything.
Even with Ant-Man too. I mean, I like, you know, the first couple movies were great, and then the last one, it's just like, it feels like everybody's just sort of going through the motions anymore. You know, there's and I don't know if it's in the writing or if it's in the acting or where that is occurring for me, that where I'm being disappointed by the shows. But you know, maybe we'll get to a point where they don't do as many films and we can refocus on the comics.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is, you know, a lot of those writers don't read the source material. They kind of hear, okay, this is what the character's about. Okay, let's, you know, like read some, you know, some Guardians comics or some Ant-Man comics, you know, really kind of get the feel of it, you know. But a lot of them don't do that, I think. So that's why I think it started. You can tell Favreau and, you know, those guys were really into Iron Man and the history of Iron Man, and it showed on the, you know, it came through on film.
It really did, yeah. I mean, that's Iron Man to this day is probably my favorite Marvel movie, the first one. You know, just because it was so well done. It was unexpected. It stuck to the origin story fairly well. Ways and mixed it up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that was the one that still I could go back and rewatch any day, and I still enjoy it. Did you go to see Flash?
No, I haven't seen a lot of the last DC movie I saw. I think we may have talked about was Man of Steel. I almost walked out of the theater on that one. When he let his father die, but he saved the dog. I was just like, okay.
Well, they saved the dog in Flash too. It's a recurring theme in DC movies. What is up with that? See, nothing original. You know, they're just repeating stuff. I mean, we got to get some new stuff out there.
I like the Batman, the latest Batman movie. I like, except for the last hour. I thought it, but then it turned into one of the you know, the rest of the Batman movies. But the first 2 hours, I love the detective, you know, kind of stuff. And then at the end, you know, of course, Gotham was once again on trial. We got to punish Gotham. You know, these people live in this town going through all this stuff. Don't they deal with enough? You know, when I have some, crime villain coming along now, I got to kill everybody in Gotham again. It's like, stop it.
Yeah, well, you'll laugh. I actually watched the whole movie except the last hour.
Well, good for you.
Well, now I don't think I'm gonna ever go back. I mean, literally, that was like 6 months ago. I got to the last hour and I was like, it's starting to, it was good, and now it's kind of getting a little.
Yeah, you stopped it perfect. That the 2 hour mark was when they caught the Riddler. It should have ended right there.
Right. Marcus says, I'm a big fan of Black Adam. I actually did see Black Adam.
I started watching it, and what the first 15, 20 minutes I actually liked it. Then I got distracted, but I haven't went back to watch it yet again. So it looked like it can be cheesy fun.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was fine. And what was the other thing I watched? The second Shazam movie or whatever. I mean, that was okay too. I mean, but again, it's like they're all just like average now. I want something big.
They feel like TV movies in a way. Like they could have made this for cable TV.
Exactly.
Kind of a deal. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, the film industry is having all of these kind of problems. They're just not drawing. I mean, I didn't even go to see Mission Impossible. All the stuff that I would normally have gone to see in a blockbuster season of stuff. I didn't go see Indiana Jones. So I don't know. Maybe this is a reset. We had
hopefully I hear they're talking. So hopefully I heard it sounds like they're close to making a deal. So because it's like nothing but reality shows have been advertised for like the fall. So it's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Jason, who is a staunch Marvel fan, said Flash was much better than he expected. Same here. My wife always, she picks everything apart. She's one of those kind of people that when we're watching a mystery show or anything, she can literally like pick out the ending of the story 30 minutes before it happens. She's, I don't know, she's read enough and watched enough, and she's analytical enough. We got through Flash, and she's like, "Do you want to know my opinion?" And I'm like, not really, because you're just gonna crash it like you always do. She's like, I actually liked it. And I was like, that's the first time in probably the last 10 years she's watched something with me that she actually said she liked. So
nice.
That was that's a miracle. But enough about movies. I remember when you were at CrossGen, you worked with Josh Middleton a little bit, or at least you guys.
Yeah. We worked on Meridian together.
That's right. That is right. Yeah, I actually talked with Josh a couple weeks ago. I mean, I never chatted with him before. A really nice guy. I mean,
Josh he's a character. Yeah, we actually talked a few months ago. We did a video call and caught up on one. It was very early for him. He's in Japan, so yeah, it was. But yeah, we caught up a little bit. Yeah, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, we were talking about having him on the show. We didn't talk about Art Sale, but he was like, yeah, I'd like to get on, do an interview. I haven't been back in the US too much in the last 10 years. And so hopefully I'll get him on for an interview sometime.
Definitely. That will be definitely fun. Definitely. Because Josh is a character. So he'll definitely have everybody laughing. He's definitely a jokester.
I was, we ended up talking for like 3 hours. It was just, I had him on a vid call, but I just kind of put it off the side while I was working. I could have probably talked to him for another 3 hours.
Definitely.
So much that,
and we talk about some Carsten stories. So yeah, definitely ask him 1 or 2 stories. He'll crack you up on.
All right, because we did not bring up CrossGen at all, but yeah, that'll be cool.
Get his view of when we got exiled from the studio. So
well, you were only there a year.
Yeah, we was over there a year to the day, both of us. So
it
ended up with us both of us moving. We basically, I may have said this before. We basically moved my apartment. We got a big truck, moved in my apartment. Went to his apartment, moved in his apartment. We both lived on the 3rd floor of these apartments too. And then we went to Georgia, dropped off my stuff, and then him and his wife kept on going up to Pennsylvania where he lived at the time. So
yeah, because he's in Tokyo now. I forget.
Yeah, he's in Japan. He's not in Tokyo. He's out in like the sticks. He's like like rural Tokyo, Japan somewhere. Wow. So I think toward the West Coast. So
he seems very happy. That's the thing. I mean, he definitely.
I think he's become. Yeah, I think he is soaked into the culture now. So yeah, I can't wait to get over there and visit him one of these days.
Have you ever been to Japan?
Yeah, I've been to Japan twice. So, and that's one of the few places that's exceeded my expectations. I knew going in like, I'm gonna love Japan, and it was even more so.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
but yeah,
I'm planning on going next year. In like next August or something. I've been wanting to go for a long time, but I'm finally gonna take the plunge.
definitely do it. Cause I want to go into, because each time I went before, I only stayed a week, and I'm like, the next time I go, I got to be at least two weeks minimum.
Did you go for work or anything?
The first time I went, I'm a car enthusiast, so the first time I went with Turbo Magazine used to do a tour to what they call the Tokyo Auto Salon, which, if you're into cars, it's basically kind of a big aftermarket auto show for Japanese tuners. And they had a tour where you went over there for a week, and we got to, go to the show and, do a bunch of car related stuff, do some drifting, stuff like that. So that was awesome. So that was my first time. And then the second time I went with Savannah College of Art. They would bring, I guess some of the seniors would go to Japan for a 2-week trip. Oh, but for the first week, they would bring over some artists to do workshops during the daytime. So I think myself, Mark Schultz, Sanford Green, a few other artists. So we would do like a 2-hour workshop in the morning. And then the rest of the day, we got to go and hang out in Japan and just, I think we went to Studio Ghibli one day. So that was awesome. We went to some museums. Yeah, great time. So
Savannah, they wanted comic illustrators as part of like a core teaching group.
Yeah, because I think they have a sequential art program now.
Right. I remember that. But that's kind of cool that they would actually do something out of the country.
I think they did a trip. They used to go to Japan. I think they used to go to France and Hong Kong. They used to do some trips. I think they stopped, but I think they say they're going to be starting them up again. So I was like, invite me again, please.
Now, did you go to Savannah yourself, or
no?
Because we're in the area, right?
I went to the Art Institute briefly. I was there for all of 2 semesters. I realized I was wasting my time and money, and I got out of there. So
better to get the real life experiences.
Definitely. Plus, at that point, I had met, artists working. I was just like, I don't, I kind of know what I need to do. This is just really going to stall that, just, because I felt like we were doing busy work a lot of the time that, in art school. It's like, I want to do comics, I'm drawing shoes and,
I went to art school. I still have my drawings of boots and whatever. Yeah, that's right.
So,
I know what you're saying. I wanted to do illustration, but I stuck with it. And then I at a fine arts college, and so they definitely beat the pen and ink and illustration stuff out of me because of hanging around for so long. But it is different education there. But I remember when we did the last interview, you were able to show us some pieces where you were doing like your own like ink over tests, like people who you hadn't gotten to work with. I think at the time you were showing us some stuff from Lionel Yu. I mean, is there anything that you're working on today where you're just kind of messing around, playing around with some stuff?
No, I'm actually working on a new project.
Good.
New Star Wars project, but I can't say what it is because it hasn't been announced yet. So I just did like 3 weeks in a row of conventions. So now I'm just kind of locked in working on the Star Wars project. So it's just been ripping and running.
I know on your on the Big Cartel site, you dropped some of the Mandalorian artwork that I think you were working. When was that? Was that recent? I'm trying to remember.
That was last year, I think. Yeah, right. That was season 1. So I think they're doing season 2 now. So I didn't ink I'm only inked like a little bit of that season, and but I am working with Georges on the new project
that we're not going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about.
Yeah. So 3 shows. What 3 shows did you just do?
I did in a row. I did Austin, GalaxyCon Austin, and then I did Baltimore Comic Con, and then last weekend I was at Retro Expo back in Texas. That was in Allen, Texas.
Okay.
So that was fun. I got to hang out with Juliet Goldstein. She's might know her as Vasquez from Aliens.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Super nice lady. Really, I met her before actually at a mutual friend's house. Her husband is into comics and collects comic art. Actually, you might know him. I forget his name off the top of my head. So, But I met her at a friend Benno's house, and so now that we actually have the same booking agent for comics, for conventions, so we got to hang out, all weekend. So she was a sweetheart. She's like my new BFF now, and she lives here in Atlanta. So I was just like, don't make me come stalk you, Janet. So, and she introduced me to Michael Bing. So that was awesome. It was just like, okay, now you're making my alien dreams come true. I'm going to start reciting lines over here.
Right,
my inner Bill Paxton wants to come out.
Right. Yeah, no, that's one of my feel-good movies is going back is watching Aliens.
That was a movie when I first saw it as a kid. The very next day I was drawing the Aliens comic. Like, that's how much like I love that movie. Like, I know it line for line. Like, the next day I still remember it was like Alien Avenue, something corny like that I was calling it. But that was just living my best 12-year-old life, at the time. So
it's game over, man. Game over.
Right, game over.
Oh man, yes, that's awesome. Well,
don't get me started.
No, I won't. So that would be. Have you done any official work on Aliens? I mean, if not, I assume that'd be something that you wouldn't mind.
No, yeah, I would love to, but no, I've never worked on. I wonder, does Dark Horse even still have the license to that now? I don't even know.
I don't know. So, I'm not sure. That's a good question. Yeah. Dang. Well, so when you're at cons, I mean, do people, do they bring you pencil artwork that they want you to ink, or do they go to you and just be like, I want you to, draw this character for me? And do they?
I get a little bit of both. I get some ink commissions. People bring up a lot of Ed McGuinness stuff. I get the ink all the time at conventions. I actually just recently inked a couple. I'm drawing a blank on the great master Captain Britain, Alan Davis.
Oh, sweet!
Somebody brought up, Alan Davis Captain Britain piece. That was actually somebody brought one at Heroes, and then when I posted it on Instagram, another person who had a Captain Britain piece brought it to me to ink. I think at Baltimore a couple of weeks ago. So that was fun inking Alan Davis. So I was just like,
was that a first time inking?
Yeah, those two pieces. Yeah, that was the first time ever inking him. So I was like, this would be a dream come true if ever, got to work with Alan Davis on a project.
Heck yeah.
I remember Excalibur, I had just started collecting, and Excalibur dropped, and, loved that book.
That's that's been one of the cool things about the last year. Hero Initiatives has been bringing Alan out to a lot of shows. I mean, I don't know how many. It feels like he's been at 8 or 10 in the U.S.
Right. So all of a sudden, I started to see Alan all over the place now. I was like, hey, Alan.
Exactly, and that's been cool because I've been seeing a lot of Alan's work go up on CAF. He's always
still live in the UK, or is he in the States now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I should ask Jim, because I talk with Jim every week, it seems like. But no, I thought it's been cool to that they do that and bring him out. But I saw him at Heroes, and I didn't even bother trying to go talk to him because his line was always like 30 people deep.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever he was at the Heroes booth, he had a mob around him. But
like I say, that is the artist show. That is one of the artist shows. So that in Baltimore, it seems like two of the big songs. See your show coming up. Feels like it'll be the next, big art show.
Fingers crossed. I hope so. But that's cool. I mean, because you always wonder, because obviously you're probably 99% of the work you've done in comics is just as an inker. So it's cool when you're at a show that people are going to come up and they will ask you to pencil ink, because it's not like you can't.
So I pencil all, head sketch, the blank covers all the time. I keep it I tell people I keep it to head sketches. Give me, keep it simple, but I try to, put a little something into it. So, so those are always fun.
We clarification. Marvel is the owner of the Alien stuff right now, or at least has the license to.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Okay. I feel like I haven't seen anything recent, but
I've seen other than some video game stuff. I haven't seen any comic related stuff that I can recall.
Yeah, they haven't made a really great Alien video game yet, unfortunately.
No, not unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately they haven't. They should do a mashup. Aliens go to the galaxy far, far away, mash up with Star Wars.
Exactly. Now, there you go. Well, hey, Marvel's got them both, right? So we might.
Somebody zips off and finds a planet where the xenomorphs are. The galaxy of the xenomorphs. We go from there.
Why not, right? I mean, there's been writers that have crossed genres before, right? Where Conan is supposedly in the world of Cthulhu because both writers had an affinity for each other's work, and so they kind of wrote little bits in that made those two worlds together. And why not?
Yeah, at least do a what if,
So well, we're very accustomed to seeing those out of Marvel.
Yeah.
Very true. So let's see here. So I remember one of the last questions I asked you on the last interview was, I think I said, do you collect art? And you had mentioned that, Michael Golden, you had a few things from him. You've even scanned a few things that went over to Scott Dunbier maybe for.
Oh yeah, I just got my copy of the book. Oh, it's so awesome.
So is there any artist whose work you've wanted to have some an example from that that is still out there? I'm just kind of curious, like especially as an inker, because I know when we talked about, you said you like looking at other artist stuff just because it kind of gives you an insight into how their approach to inking. So collection wise, who's on your want list still?
Oh, I would love to get a Barry Windsor-Smith. Anything.
Me too.
Especially something from Weapon X, but good luck on that. But yeah, it's so many. He's the first one.
I mean, when because you mentioned you had like a nom page and and those,
they actually it made it into the book, so that was fun to see. I have a Michael Golden Nightwing cover also. So. And I got it in right flanking another Rick Leonardi Nightwing page on the other wall. So that's kind of fun. So I always love Rick stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a few people, even got to work with Rick on a small ride story.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, that was fun.
Well, I think as a collector, there's always, at least a dozen things on my like ongoing want list. So it's, I can imagine, how it is for you. Cause you get to, you're handling art all the time, but getting to own some pieces from some of the people whose work you really admire, I think it's gotta be pretty cool. Not all artists in the field collect art, or like they have it around. A lot of guys, they do, it's a job and it's
it's a job and that's what they do. And the rest of it, they could care less about. So
exactly. What did Sam say? He loves Dexter's Stout posters behind him. Those are those Mondo posters. I think we
Here's a Mondo. Yeah. I think they stopped doing the posters. I heard. Because I was wondering why I haven't been seeing anything yet. And I heard. I was talking to actually I think Cully Hamner.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was telling me because he lives in Austin where the Draft House is.
Yeah.
And it's like, they stopped doing the posters for some reason. I was like, okay, don't take my money then.
I know they were on a run there. I picked up a couple of different posters. I'm trying to, but yeah, they're still doing posters. I got an email, but they were doing like a reprint of a Cockrum X-Men cover, the one with like Dr.
They're not. Well, at least they stopped kind of doing these kind of
where they were hiring where they were hiring artists to do these alternative, because they were always crazy as heck, man. And they're huge. Like
they would sell out in like seconds. So I'm like, okay, I don't like. I mean, they would do a release at San Diego. Like you have to be, waiting for them to tweet like, all right, such and such is available. Like people would rush and. It's crazy to get those posters. So it's crazy that they stopped doing that.
I managed to get one once. Samuel says that still doing posters, but Funko runs the show, so their main creative team is gone. Well, that's too bad. See, Dave says Funko bought them and cut them back. Well, that's unfortunate. Man, well, that's
damn corporate.
Yeah, exactly.
Big wig suits.
Because they had such a great run, man. I thought it was cool because
I had to make myself stop buying them. They was, I was just like, okay, I got enough. I don't have so much but wall space.
And they exposed you to artists that you know, some of them you hadn't heard of before. You know, I mean,
Yeah, Tyler Stout is one of the main guys. I actually got to meet Tyler up at Emerald City one year. He lives up in that area. I think Portland maybe.
Okay.
And so yeah, we got pretty friendly. So he would because he would always get his own batch and he would do his own release. So I actually got most of the prints directly from him.
Well, you didn't have to sit there pounding refresh.
Nah, because I always, once I got to know him, you know, his mailing list, and plus I would email him like, hey, you know, kind of got on the inside a little bit there for a little while. And so, but
Dang.
yeah, it's real cool. But after a while, I was like, all right, unless he does, because I got a lot of Tyler Stout posters. So I was like, unless he does something with Game of Thrones or like one or two other things I kind of love, and I was like, I kind of had to retire. So at least from Tyler's, you know, it's might to get some other people try to spread the love.
Exactly. Well, it was a cool thing while they were doing it. What Samuel mentions that Tyler just did a Mad Max Fury Road one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like a special screening, but it's independent of Mondo these days. And Kelsey Steen says, Dex, you're the man.
Well, thank you, Kelsey.
But yeah, we need more stuff like that out there. You know, I mean, the thing is, it is always about the money at the end of the day. It's like if there's not a great profit margin and stuff, people just don't tackle you know, art projects. I mean, I think it's always been that way, right? If you don't have a benefactor or somebody who's going to be willing to take risks and sorts of things, we lose out on stuff like that. So when Mondo did that, you know, it's an amazing thing to see. We definitely need more independent businesses out there trying to do cool things like that. That could spill into comics and doing other you know, creative storytelling in different ways. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if we only worked and thought of you know, DC and Marvel's the only places we can get you know, art and new storytelling. Well, we know we're not going to get that, so we need different avenues. I'm not saying that I know what the answer is to it, but it wasn't cross-gen. It was an attempt. But anyway, but so I made a couple notes here. You know, we only kind of like touched on Revolver. I mean, as a studio, I mean, I know that lasted like 3 years. It was something that you did before, you know, and you mentioned to me when we were talking about that, you know, you had bought the house that you're currently in and it was easy to, you know, it had a studio in it and everything. But when you started Revolver, what was kind of the intent behind starting Revolver Studios? Because I mean, I'm trying to think who you started that with. I mean, wasn't Georges as a part of that too, or am I mistaken?
I think the first iteration was myself, Tom Feaster.
That's it, Feaster, right?
Was Georges there initially? Because we were basically renting like an apartment out of like the Ford factory lots, if you're familiar with Atlanta. So it was like 4 of us, and I think what was it? Because then we started having people coming in and out. But yeah, it was just initially like, yeah, it was like me, Georges, Tom. I think colorist Brian Reber was there from the get-go. So, and then we just, over the years, we kind of grew from there. We moved to a bigger apartment in the same place. And then from there, we even, at one point, Mark Brooks joined the studio. So we started getting bigger and bigger. And then we eventually rented, you know, office space. So we ran probably more closer to like 6 years.
Okay.
So yeah, because we started going from office place to office place. And so as we kind of got bigger and bigger, people came in and came out. Jason Pearson joined the studio at one point. So yeah, there was always, you know, people in and out. You know, we were growing and, you know, trying to expand. But with all things, you know, artists, like with bands, you know, there's different personalities and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, but no, it was fun for a while. But once I, bought my house here, it's just like at one point, that's the reason why I bought the house, because it had a great studio space in it. So eventually, once the lease was up at one point, it was just a perfect spot for me to leave at that point. So,
all right. Dave Kopecki mentions John Tyler Christopher, Georges, Jason Pearson, Tariq. You guys did great sets of sketch cards that we'd order from, and I do remember that. I think you know, like you do a set, like people could pick like like Buffy, and like everybody in the studio would do
Well, yeah, I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, I mean, as far as like just getting the name out there and putting something in people's hands, I mean, you figure those sketch cards are still out there somewhere.
We did a bunch of stuff at one point as a studio for, what was that game? It was like was it Farmville? What was it? Farm something? That was a big
there was a Farmville game back then. Yeah.
Something. We did a bunch of art for that, like back in the day as a studio. That was a pretty good gig. So we did, we actually do a few kind of commercial studio things. So that was fun from time to time. So
well, that's cool. I mean, so you did get, it wasn't just a studio where you guys could kind of see each other working on comics. You were really out there trying to get, you know, jobs as a studio.
Yeah, we definitely, that was a chance for us. I forget who met the person, because Super Soaker is based a little north of Atlanta.
Okay.
And that was a chance for us to do some Super Soaker like box art.
Mm-hmm.
So we did like a tryout, but it kind of fell through. But so yeah, we were always trying to do little, if we could do something that bring, you know, commercially that incorporated, you know, everybody in the studio or a lot of people in the studio, we would do that from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was always, so we just looked at it as, you know, just side projects, you know, we can all get in on, and a lot of that stuff paid, you know, even better than the comic work. So.
Right. Well, that's why everybody does like some level of commercial work if you can get it, right? I mean,
yeah, definitely.
If we have a piece of commercial art, I guess, you know, in here, that Kevin Nolan MasterCard. I mean, I don't know what it was from, but that piece. Let's see. Nicholas Gear wanted to thank you once again for meeting, you know, being at Retro Expo and a Tin Soldier sketch.
Oh, cool. You're welcome. Awesome. Yeah, I had a great time at that show. So,
and here T-Tad. I mean, I always love your work over Ed McGuinness. I mean, you guys, you know, you complimented Ed's pencils so well. And,
thank you. I appreciate
you guys were, you know, the stuff, especially the Hulk work. Just
oh yeah, and Ed he was made to draw the Hulk. That was just like, he was just perfectly, his style was just perfectly for the Hulk. So yeah. So.
We'll see.
I heard the Red Hulk is actually going to be in a movie, so hopefully maybe we'll get that right. We'll see.
Well, that would be nice. Is there any royalties in there baked into the Red Hulk?
I wish. I doubt it. Like maybe since Ed kind of drew the Red Hulk, he may see something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, Ed X. Yes, I remember those signatures well.
Oh yeah, and that started out really as a joke, because when I started working with Ed, he wouldn't sign the covers, so I just did it one time as a joke. I kind of hid it. I think it was a Superman cover, and he saw it and laughed, and we, you know, I just like, all right. So I just kept doing it from that point on. I was like, well, if you're not going to sign them, I'll just hide Ed. I'll come up with Ed X, you know, and that's just kind of how it became a thing. Because I asked him, like, why don't you sign the covers? So he's just like, yeah, whatever. He didn't care. I was like, all right.
T-Tad actually said, I actually prefer you guys on Superman. So cool.
Awesome.
That's funny. Let's see. What is it? End of Times wants to know who owns his cover from Hulk 11 and the Terex and Tiger Shark. Great stuff. Who knows? Maybe somebody on CAF. If you go to Comic Art Fans and search for it, it might be up there. I am not sure if I've seen that one over there. It's possible. Definitely possible. But what's it like? You know, obviously we're going to be selling art here pretty soon, in the next couple minutes. But I mean, I assume you do keep some of the pieces that you work on, right? Where it's just like, this one's just too good. You enjoy it too much. You're not going to let it go.
Either that or I'll hang on to it for a while. There's a lot of pieces I've hung on to for like, 10, 15 years. And it's like, you know what? Just let somebody else enjoy it now.
Maybe it's time to let it go. But
yeah. I mean, so I've done that.
I would have to think that sometimes you just look at a piece that you just wrapped up and you're like, I did a damn good job on that one. I don't want to let it go.
So there's definitely a few things I've kind of put away, or I have a few things I've worked on framed, hanging up. So definitely
nothing wrong with that. I mean, I would, I think that's great. I mean, because it shows it's not just work, right? I mean, it's really, really enjoying it. That's I don't know. I love hearing that because, sometimes I would think after you do it for like 28, 30 years, whatever it ends up being, that you could get a little bored after a while. It's just like it's repetitive and everything. But
yeah. No, the artists are still working with, good artists. Definitely keeps it fun. I still get up mornings and I get my coffee. I'm like, all right, and walk over to the studio. I'm ready to go. I still have those days. So it's still there. So
awesome. And Kelsey mentioned, thanks for the Art Adams page that you inked, and loved hearing the story behind it. So,
thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. I meant to see if Art had any more pencil pages in Baltimore and totally forgot. And I was like, I forgot to go by and flip through his stuff. So
what was that? Something that was maybe digitally inked?
Yeah, I think they just digitally inked it. It was a page from now I'm drawing a blank on what it's from, but I bought it like at Boston, like probably 12 plus years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then I inked it and actually had it framed for years. So it's just another one of those things. Had it, framed, inked. And I just put it. I was like, I'll put it on the site, see if anybody's interested. And bam, that was Kelsey. So.
Well, thank you, Kelsey. That's awesome. Here's a good question for you, because I was thinking about that when you ink something that you really enjoy, you really like it, and then it comes time to doing a split, with the penciler. Sometimes maybe one of your favorite pages ends up going to the penciler. So Jason's question is more about how do you handle art splits with covers. But yeah, in general, like if you were working with Ed and you had to split up a book, how did you work that out? I mean, did you guys?
Well, generally, real quick, for the covers, the inkers get every third cover. So that's how we work that out. Okay. With the pages, it's a 60-40 split. So we'll, like when me and Ed, we get on the phone and just say, hey, all right, because usually I have all the pages at that point.
Right.
So he'll just say, all right, he'll pick two, I pick one. He'll pick two, I pick one. So he'll just say, hey, I want page such and such and such and such. But if there's a page you really want, you just say, hey, I really like this page. And then, you kind of generally, we'll agree. It's like, all right, cool. And we just kind of go from there. So
that's not
if
bad.
There's a page you really kind of want, usually it's like, all right, fine. Let's, we really want that page, per se. But usually if somebody really wants a page, they'll get it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the old days when you would have, because I know you used to have to mail the art in, right? So
right, you were sitting in, so you just got back whatever.
You got back whatever the heck
art. Yeah, editor would get you back. He's like, oh, okay. You open the box, it was like Christmas. Like, okay, hopefully I got some good ones in here.
Right, right. Yeah, that's, I don't know. That to me that'd be agonizing, but that was how it was.
Yeah,
before. That's cool.
It still blows my mind when I used to hear back in the day, Marvel will give a tour of the Marvel's offices, and at the end of the tour, they would hand people a piece of original artwork. I was like, wow, are you kidding me? Just like, here, thanks for coming. Here's this Jack Kirby page. Or whatever it might be. It's like, wow.
There are stories of that, like Stan just saying, giving the mailman a page of art, as an attaboy, or those sorts of things. You just never know where that stuff ended up, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, but we all have like Neil Adams and Stranko and a few other guys.
Thanks for that.
For making
us
sure
our original artwork back.
Yeah. But that's cool though. Now today, since you scan after you're done inking it, you scan it, you send it over to Marvel's Dropbox or however the heck they've got things set up, and you've got everything in hand. Now you can handle the splits, and that's pretty cool. I've actually never. Thank you, Jason. We've never asked that question of.
So yeah, once the book comes out, then we're usually, free to sell it. But Star Wars is different. We have to. LucasArts usually has first refusal for the artwork, so we usually have to let them see if they want anything, and then you can sell the Star Wars stuff. But other than that, you can just, once the book hits the shelf, then the artwork is available, or it can be available at that point.
Right. Yeah, you're not provocative, Jason. You just ask a good question every now and again. And Kelsey said they're Kelsey S on Comic Art Fan. So if people are curious about the Art Adams inked piece by Dexter, you could head over to Kelsey S's Calf Gallery and see it for yourself, assuming it's there. Kelsey. Cool, man. Well, we want to start looking at the artwork we got because it is a Saturday afternoon. I'm sure
let's do it.
Grass to cut or something. I know I do.
All right, I'm just sitting here talking to you fine people and watching a little college football behind. So
there you go. Oh, see, I'm not multitasking like that. All right, cool. Well, so everybody knows kind of how we do these things here. Claims are going to happen in the chat. We're going to show 21 pieces today. 16 are brand new. 5 are holdovers from the last show that we've kind of discounted for you. So there'll be 21 lots. You'll see a lot number on the slide. You just have to type claim and the lot number to claim the art. First person in the chat who types that gets it. I can show you I got a couple slides that talk about shipping and how we're going to pay and everything. So if you do claim any artwork today, I want you to email me after the show. That's bill@comicartfans.com. You just need to let me know which pieces you claimed. I'm writing it down as well while we're doing that. But in the email, just say, you got lots 1 and 2. And include your mailing address when you do that, just so I get that information up front. You'd be surprised. Literally, I say that every week, and every show I have this, and usually 90% of the people don't send me their email address in the first email. But also payment. Payment. We expect it in 48 hours. Service fee, if you have to go via PayPal, is 4% US, 5.5 if you're international. We do take Zelle. No fee with that. I kind of prefer Zelle if we can do that. And for those of you who don't have Zelle and want to avoid the fees, I don't mind getting a personal check as long as you promise me that you put it in the mail on Monday morning. So, keep that in mind. I don't like charging fees for stuff, but I like to avoid it when we can. And the prices you see on the artwork today does not include shipping and handling. If you're in the continental US, it's going to be $30. International, including Canada, is $65. And again, I have all the artwork here. I handle all the packing and shipping, and we ship everything in Masonite. So, it's packed really, really well with prompt payment. We have the artwork in the mail by Monday morning. When we did the last sale, I had the artwork was received by people, on Wednesday, many of them. So we like to turn everything around really quickly. And so prompt payments is what we like. Gets everything tidied up and out of CAF HQ, which is what we want, because my office unfortunately is not big like a giant studio. I wish I had extra space, but yeah, we like to get it out the door as quick as we can. So that's how we're going to do it today. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. But one thing I always forget to tell people at the start of these things is, if you're watching on YouTube, and I imagine most people are, click the live button. It's like right down at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen on YouTube. If you click that, it kind of moves you to the most current part of the stream that you can be watching. You're always going to be a few seconds behind Dex and I, but at least that gets you so you're competitive with your other viewers to get a claim in. And if you don't feel like that's good enough, you can always just hit refresh in your browser if you're watching from a desktop computer too. That'll get you as close to live as possible. But because there are times we have a show and then somebody's trying to claim lot 1 literally a minute after it's already been claimed and we've moved on. So they're not watching in real time with us. So there you go. And Nick Brucci, hey man, if I was just gonna say, Nick's probably gonna tell everybody to hit that thumbs up too. So he said 52 watching and we only have 28 likes. How's that?
Hey Nick, how's it going?
Nick is always doing really well. I was on his show last night, and
go.
He did an art auction for a John Romita Jr. Spidey cover that he was sweating bullets on. He started the bidding at $1, and but it got up to 11,000. So
nice.
He breathed a sigh of relief.
I bet.
So
anyway, that didn't start at a few grand.
At least I'd want to start it where the minimum, but he was rolling the dice. I mean, I don't know if I could have been that
paid off. That's good.
But all right, so let's get this stuff started here. Like I said, do I have any order to this? Not really. Well, it's kind of grouped by title, I think is the way I approached the order of the stuff we're going to see today. So I'll go ahead and pull up lot 1 and show it off. This first one is with McNiven, of course. Amazing Spider-Man 548, page 5, priced at $300. I know that's not Peter Parker. I kind of looked at the issue. It was someone who had an extra web shooter or something. Clearly, I mean, he's getting choked out by the bad guy here. But again, a McNiven piece. So, it's somebody that you definitely have done a lot of work with. So
yeah.
Do you guys have kind of a shorthand, when you're doing something like this? I mean, there's bricks on the wall. I mean, is McNiven usually penciling all that in, or is he just giving you?
He indicates everything, but yeah, it definitely leaves me enough room to kind of get in there and play around with it a little bit. So, and this was that point. He was really still kind of coming into his full powers, as I like to think. But yeah, this was we did like 3 issues. It was fun 3 issues.
Very cool. And congrats and thank you, Mr. Barucci, for picking up that first one. That's always a good way to start.
Thank you, Nick.
T-Tad called Nick a claim ninja.
He is.
He does have some skills, that is for sure. And I didn't, I don't need to show the art. The scans on I've put everything in order here beside me, but what we show on the screen is going to be always better than that. But so we've got 2 Black Panther pages coming up, and I figure I should probably show those, because we had a Black Panther page, I think, in the last one that was blue line, and that was all we had. But with these 2 lots 2 and 3 that we're going to show, we actually have Sprouse's pencils along with Dex's inks, and that's pretty cool. I think, as collectors, as we know, there's blue lines are the kind of the way things are going anymore. Typically, the penciler just scans his pencils and sends them over to an inker. So I was curious about the story behind it, that you actually have the pencils. Did you talk to Chris and have him send over?
Yeah, I talked to Chris. Me and Chris were at GalaxyCon Columbus last year.
Okay.
And I think he had those pages kind of sitting in his kind of like basically like giveaway pile. And I was like, oh, these are cool. I don't mind having these to go along with the pencils. He's like, yeah, take them. So, I'll just include them together, because a lot of people, they just don't like the blue for whatever reason. It's like the blue lines have these icky,
Right. I mean,
so, even though that's what you're seeing in the comic, but
Exactly. Well, I get it. It's like if they're really a Chris Sprouse fan, right? And they're Chris Sprouse pencils on it, they're like, it's the published page, but but it is what it is. Like you say, that is the published artwork. So it's cool that you were able to get this for lots 2 and 3. So I'll go ahead and show. So I made 2 slides so you can see both pieces. But so here's lot 2. We've got, like it says, pencil and blue line inks by both Chris and Dex. This is priced at $500. It's from Black Panther 17. You got, Storm was in that issue, so I think we see her once or twice on this page. And you get that one, and you get the pencil page right there as well. So and that's the way I think most people would prefer to get it when they can. And it's great that Chris was amicable to to give you those the pencils to go along with it. That's awesome. Let's see. Question from CJ was curious if you go with a quill or a brush typically.
Generally a brush inker. Anything organic, I use a brush on.
Mm-hmm.
Anything technical, I use tech pens like microns, French curves, straight edges, stuff like that. I rarely use quill. I use quill on like some speed line stuff, but I don't use a ton of quill in my work.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I never thought about it like that. Use a brush on the organic and use a pen on anything, I don't know, industrial or just anything.
Yeah. So kind of back in the day when I first got into comics, they kind of referred brush inkers were like East Coast and quill inkers were West Coast inkers. It was kind of like, because a lot of the Wildstorm guys and the Image guys were mostly quill inkers.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of me, Carl Story, John Beatty, John Dale, a lot of us out east were using brushes. So
well, that's interesting, but it's back to studios, right? Guys getting used to seeing other people work one way or another, and then adopt it. All right, well, lot 2 is still available. We're going to take a look at lot 3, which is from the same issue, the consecutive pages. That last one was page 5. This is page 6. You got a nice leggy Storm there in the first panel, and this one also comes with the pencils. I can show you the slide for that one too. So again, that was cool that Chris did that. Yeah, it's just good to have them both. But again, it's kind of cool. We're all so used to seeing, or we don't get to see the pencils too often, right?
Right.
Once you ink over them, it's all gone. So this at least gives you some insight into what Chris's penciled works look like when he's handing them over to an inker. So very, very cool here. So this one, again, lot 3, priced at $500. CJ says quills can frustrate me. I tried using quills back in the day, and they frustrated the hell out of me too.
I just hate the sound they make when they're scratching the paper. It's like, drives me crazy. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Do you listen to music or something while you're inking?
I do. I have some friends. I was talking to Mark Morales. He will have videos of him inking with a quill, but he won't have any music. You just hear the sound of the quill.
You just hear the scratching?
I was just like, oh, how do you do that? He's like, I don't even hear it anymore. I was like, oh, I can hear it loud and clear. Stop it.
So music.
But yeah, I usually listen to music, or I'm got something going on the TV. So I wouldn't hear it. Even if I did use a quill, I wouldn't hear it.
That's good. All right, well, let's move on to lot 4. What do we got for lot 4? Oh, that's right. We got some Buffy in the next couple lots here. So this is over George's pencils, priced at $300. This is from Buffy season 11, issue 4, page 10. And, these are fun. I mean, I can tell you and George's have a good working relationship. And, because I just think the inking on here is, I feel like you're having a good time while you're inking his pencils.
Yeah. Me and George's have been, I think we both kind of got into business right around the same time, and we met like a year or two after that. So we almost feel like we kind of grew up in the industry together. So.
And you did a fair amount of work on Buffy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I've worked on a lot of Buffy. Probably George's is. I probably worked with George's the most now that I think about it over my career, because we did a lot of stuff at DC when we first got in. Then we did some stuff at Marvel, some Bishop stuff, some Gambit stuff. So we've been working together, a lot of Buffy, a lot of, Mandalorian. We've worked together a lot over the years. So.
And we do have a few other pieces from your work with George's as well. Everybody loves your stout posters in the back. Nathan mentioned it as well. But here we go. Lot 4 is still out there. Let's take a look at lot 5. Another one from Buffy, and this one's priced at $200. Nice. You can almost call it a half splash on there. But again, your inking on George's is really nice on this piece. This is from the same book, issue 9, page 18. It's penciled and inked. Lot 5 at $200. So yeah, I mean, it's always good when you have somebody that you can work with. I mean, I assume, unlike with Ed, where you kind of had like a long stretch where you were working with him a lot. I mean, with George's, is it more kind of easy to come back to work with him when you have like 6 months off from working with his stuff? I mean, after all the time that you worked with him, I have to imagine you kind of have a easy familiarity with sitting down in front of one of his pages.
Yeah, definitely. Because especially, and George is another one of those classic guys. He everything he kind of indicates, but he leaves a good bit of room for me to kind of play, where I feel like I'm really kind of adding and bringing my style into it, and and to me that makes it more fun. So yeah, inking George's, working with him is always fun. And working on this new Star Wars stuff is even more fun. So it's weird. This is one of the first projects. Well, it seems like. I tell George, it's like everything you do, you're working on people with likenesses. It's like from Buffy to the Star Wars stuff to, I know I'm missing something, the Serenity. So it's like he is always working on something with real people.
Well, he's like the Williamson from the old days, who did Blade Runner and could do great likenesses, and Star Wars. George is a go-to guy when it comes to
I think I think when it's also, he will be known for his his likenesses in comics, because a lot of his projects have been that. So it's interesting how it's worked out for him.
Well, we've got let's see, got this one still available, so we'll take a look at lot 6 next. It's a piece from Deadpool, Wade Wilson's War. This is issue 4. Jason Pearson, and inks by Dex, of course, on this one. So what was Jason like? I mean, I know we've obviously, lost him and everything, but you got the opportunity to have him in studio. And work with him as well.
Jason, he was great. He was intense at times. He was definitely he was kind of a roller coaster of a character, but always been one of my favorite artists. And then they actually, get to work with him and then be in the studio with him, it was just like, in my inner fanboy was just like, oh my goodness, I'm actually working with Jason Pearson, and actually, unfortunately, he's passed. I have a lot of his old artwork that, I guess I'm helping his estate out with. So just to see this guy's talent, I'll just come in, some days and just kind of flip through and just look at some of the stuff and just like, this guy is just so talented, so talented.
Yeah, he had a really unique style. I mean, when I always really appreciated it, and it's like when you first saw like Joe Mad's work, you're like, this guy's gonna, he's just somebody who kind of stands out from a crowd, and during that time when maybe it might have been a little bit harder to stand out with so many prolific big name artists, doing stuff. But I always really liked his stuff. There's not enough of his work out there.
Yeah. I mean, his style, his storytelling was just always top notch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love this page. I mean, even though you got 4 people getting a shot on it, and one guy, choking on the barrel of a gun, it's well told.
Yeah, Deadpool doing Deadpool things.
Exactly. And same thing on this next one too, because we have another page from that one. It's priced $500 as well. And Nick Brucci, I have to say thank you for picking up lot 6. I apologize.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, this is a great page too. I mean, you get the chopper in there, them hanging on the outside of it. It's just a great, I love the layout on this piece. The composition's great. I love how, that second panel really isn't the panel at all. It kind of blends over.
His layouts and stuff. Yeah, just so his storytelling's so good. I just recently got to flip through the original body bags.
Oh, cool.
And it was just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, and Justin Porter. Oop, I just missed it. Where we go? Got lot 7. Thank you, Justin. This is a nice one. I mean, when I saw this,
thank you, Justin.
Man, that's a nice piece, because I've actually never owned anything by Pearson. So one of these days, I will fix that. There's a few modern artists. I mean, say modern, people from the mid '90s forward that I've always wanted to get something by. And Jason is definitely one of them. Get to the chopper, says T-Tech.
All right. Get to the chopper.
Well, thank you, Justin, for that one. So let's now we are gonna move over and take a look at some Star Wars related artwork here for a couple lots. This is lot 8. I mean, if you've watched The Mandalorian, you can pretty much know where this is coming from. This is from season 1. This is from effectively this is Mandalorian issue 5 in the comics, page 10.
This was fun to work on these as I was watching the show. So I would always go to the scenes like, all right, here we go, and just kind of look at it. I think I watched this episode probably 10 times as I inked the issue.
Oh, heck yeah. But see, now on this one, not much, you don't have to worry about the Mandalorian's likeness or anything on it, right?
Right.
You don't have that same pressure like when you're working on Buffy with George's.
At least he gets to draw this helmet and keep it moving.
Exactly. And and Grogu's, he's done a very good job, and you did fantastic inking him as well. But yeah, this is fun. I mean, because this is a show my family doesn't watch too many shows together, but we watch The Mandalorian together. It's just something everybody really, really, really likes. So this was lot 8, priced at $600. And we've got one other page from this. Let me see here. This is a different issue. This is lot 9 at $600 as well. It's from issue 8, page 6. And again, you get the Mandalorian again in there. And that's is it the Gina Carano or whatever her name is character?
Yeah.
But yeah, fun stuff in here as well. And last panel is awesome. But yeah, I assume this has just got to be fun. I mean, a little nerve wracking when you're working with a Lucas product at the end of the day, but because it sounds like do they have to inspect the pencils before you get to ink them too, or do they actually wait till it's
They're supposed to? But there's been many times I've inked stuff and then there's like, hey, we need you to change and fix this and this. So it does happen. We have to do a few patches here and there, and it'd be stuff you wouldn't think nobody would catch. You know, because I'm pretty sure a word balloon is going to cover this, but okay, I'll go ahead and fix it. You know, so it's funny the little things they would pick up on. I mean, the little minuscule things you wouldn't think, but they will find it. But they'll find it after I've inked it.
Right. So that's the thing. You think that because it's so much easier to get it done in the pencil stage, but
right, because I don't think they see it as much. Because George's and his pencils, he will also have a lot of his construction lines and stuff in there. So I don't think they can pick it up as well until it's inked. So, because it seems like that's when they notice a lot of the stuff is actually when it's been inked.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. So at least they give it a cursory glance when it's pencils. But so Nick got the lot. Which one was that? Lot 8, and that one was the one that we showed first. Just to remind everybody. Yeah, that one's a good one, Nick. Thank you for picking.
Thank you, Nick.
On that one, I love the shading technique under the bikes. You know, that's not.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, the textures.
Now, was that your choice, or was it the kind of George's?
George's. I think he kind of indicated it, and I just kind of ran with it and kind of did my thing with it. But I'm pretty sure he at least indicated he wanted something like that.
But it works well. I mean, it kind of gives it is kind of a Star Wars feel texture that seeing, you know, in those Adobe walls and
yeah.
So no,
I love stuff like that. Yeah, I just love because that's one thing that I really love about the Star Wars universe. It's like, it's dirty, it's futuristic, but it's dirty at the same time.
Exactly.
You
know? All right, so we were just looking at lot 9, so we're going to take a look at lot 10 now. So this is from Red Robin, issue 7, page 19. Marcus and Dex on this piece. So lot 10 priced at $300. Nice. I'd call this a splash page, even with the inset on there. Fun perspective on this as well, right?
Ooh, Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. Now, on this one, have you and Marcus have worked together before, right? I think before.
I think this was at least the only time I remember was this one issue.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the only time we worked together.
Okay. Wow. And so first time working with a creator, then what do you do you guys talk at all before you get the pencils from him?
Sometimes it depends. I think I remember talking to Marcus. I think we emailed back and forth some. And generally usually if I work with somebody, I'll kind of look them up and see some of their other stuff and kind of, see what other inkers have done with their stuff. But I'll kind of, once I get the pencils in hand and kind of, I can kind of get a feel and just kind of, kind of do what I do on it. So, but I do like to kind of peek and see what other people will have done in the past over
what their approach was. Okay, cool. Well, this one's still out there as well. See, I say that, and the moment I say it, I've got a claim from Nick. Yes, thank you.
Thanks again, Nick.
Yep, and I would agree with you on that one. A very good price on that, $300 for that. So let's take a look at the next lot 11. And this one's from Spider-Verse. It's the team up book. This is issue 2. So you got pencils by Dave Williams and inks by Dex. This is priced at $350. So you get Miles on here. I think one of those other Spideys is Peter, right? And I forget who the other one is.
Yeah.
But
it's the old Peter Parker from the animated show.
That's right. That's right. But this, what was these were fun. I think we had a couple pages from this the last time we did.
Oh, did we? I didn't remember now. Yeah. So yeah, this is like the different versions, the different universes. So yeah, this was fun. I used to love that cartoon as a kid. Him swinging down these buildings, even though the spider webs you don't know where they're hanging from, the stars, from the clouds.
Right. Well, they have that when they showed the intro when he's swinging from the side, right? And he's just shooting up at the sky practically.
Like at some point as a kid, I kind of realized, hey, where are those webs going?
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Right. But we didn't care. It was back then,
we didn't care.
As consumers of our favorite, comic book characters, it didn't matter that we could suspend the laws of physics.
Definitely. I still do that with professional wrestling. So, so it's a thing.
Yes, it is. Well, no one's claiming it yet, and Nick's trying to give everybody an opportunity to get it. So he's letting everybody know that it's out there and available. So this is lot 11 at $350, and thank you, Nick, for continuing to rally everybody to hit with the thumbs up. We got 66 people watching, and we're almost at 50 thumbs up. I think we can reach at least 50, if not more. Let's take a look at lot 12. Now this one is with blue lines. Joe Bennett from the Terrifics. This is from issue 13. Page 20 with Dex's inks on it, and you worked your tail off on these. I mean, I know we've seen
had a lot of fun on Joe's stuff. I really did. It was just a fun. I think did we do a couple issues? We might have did a couple, but it was a fun issue. So I really kind of had fun because he really just renders a lot. So I just kind of had fun with my brush, just kind of going in and just. I mean, it was time consuming, but it was fun. So at the same time.
No, like you can tell. I mean, there's no way you'd put that much effort and detail into. I
love this Plastic Man. Like he needs to do a Plastic Man book. If I was an editor, I would like the next day. It was like you doing a Plastic Man book because he was made to draw that character.
And Detective 545, nice to see you again, claiming lot 12. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Detective.
Yeah, Detective was on the show last night with Nick and was picking up a few things as well. As a regular on the channel. We love it. A new art collector, a converted, well, maybe not fully converted comic book collector into art, but it does sort of work that way. It's like it's
welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, the art takes over at one point or another for most of us. All right, so lot 12 is out. Let's take a look at lot 13. We've got a couple pages with Pacheco pencils and inks by Dex, and this is lot 13, priced at $300 from Ultimate Avengers 3, page 6. Fun, crazy force perspective in that first panel. That's you don't see planes drawn quite like that.
Right.
A fisheye lens photograph or something.
Carlos. I hated to hear that he had passed, and another great dog.
Yeah, man, it's another creator that you've had the great fortune to work with that was pretty prolific, but I mean loved by many people. I never got to meet him, but everybody I know that had seen and met him at a show or whatever always had fantastic things to say about him.
Yeah, I never got to meet him myself in person, but yeah, it seemed like he was a great dude, fun to work with. Loved his pencils.
Yeah, very, very solid guy as far as his storytelling and his artwork. So we've got this, and we have another page. Let me switch over to that too. This is lot 14. A lot of action going on this one. You got the Red Skull, you got
Red Skull,
and the Cube, of course, on here. So
right.
This is issue 5, page 15, lot 14, priced at $400. Again, Pacheco pencils and Dex's inks on this one. But yeah, I thought this one was fantastic. I mean, in person, it's amazing. I mean,
he did a great Red Skull.
Yeah, I love the way that inset panel for number 2. I mean, it's dramatic and it just flows from top to bottom. I mean, really, really well thought out layout here and here. But yeah, he drew a crazy Red Skull, man. I mean, it was a Red Skull. It was
right.
It wasn't like a Jack Kirby, kind of big chin bones or whatever. I mean, he drew the Red Skull like he was literally just missing his skin. So kind of scary.
Put that creep factor in it. So that was perfect.
So I completely agree with you. That's why I made sure I was like, what panels do I want to focus on? I'm like, I gotta show the last panel with this. But anyway, so this one is still available too. Lot 14, priced at $400. Pacheco pencils on it and Dex's inks. We got take a look at lot 15 next here. And it was funny. I was trying to look up this issue online for the life of me, because I'm like, who in the I know that character looks familiar, but I couldn't find the issue that this was from. But this is Ultimate's annual number 1, and this has got Ed McGuinness pencils and Dex's inks on it. It's page 6 from that issue, priced at $300. And again, love it. I mean, I think McGuinness has kind of a flair for the way he does page layouts, and you get that here, with the way the first panel is set into the second panel, and you got the canted third and fourth panels in there. I mean, it's cool. It really is nice.
Yeah, it's good action.
And I did get a couple claims there. I was so busy talking, I wasn't looking at the chat. So Detective 545 came in just before TTAD, and I think Nick was trying to as well and mistyped his number. He was trying to get
it. No.
But I appreciate everybody's interest in this one. It is really nice. I mean, again, Ed's just got a really unique style, and I mean, it had to have been a joy, when you're working with him for so much. I mean, that's cool. And I like the action lines here. It's something that we see a lot of modern artists, guys who we see a lot of in the last 5 years doing those kind of action lines that are, like just to the right of the tire. I mean, but this is something that I think, is kind of coming out of, Ed's period too, where, I mean, they do them a little differently today, but I just like that. It was just so non-typical, a way to kind of, just, I don't know, show action, show movement.
That was a little quill right there. I think probably right there by the tire. It might be. There's probably a mix of brush and quill in there. Those are kind of the things I would usually use quill on, like those little kind of speed lineies kind of deals like that. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes like I can do it with a brush today, and then sometimes like, nah, I better use the quill.
But no, fantastic piece, absolutely, and congrats to Detective for getting that. And Detective, you probably saw it. What happens a lot when two claims are made literally milliseconds apart, it can flip-flop for the viewers, but we in the studio, it flows naturally, so we get to see which one was ahead of the other one. But through the YouTube interface, you might not see it the same way. All right, so we got one more.
Detective.
Yes, thank you so much. So now here, this is the last of the new pieces that we got. This is the Kevin Nolan piece with you, Dex. And I know you had mentioned Johnson too, and I wasn't quite sure how to work that in there. So I figured you could tell us. This one's priced at $600. Clearly, Nolan pencils on this. You did a fantastic work on it. But explain the Johnson's involvement in it.
Okay, before this project happened, Dave Johnson inked Kevin Nolan on a Wildcats annual, I think, story, but he kind of imitated Kevin's inking. So he kind of inked it how Kevin would ink it. So when it's from at least from what I remember, when this job came along for Details Magazine, Kevin got behind, called up Dave, saying, "Hey, Dave, can you come in and help me ink this thing and get it done in time?" Dave says yes. And I think Dave gets behind, calls me up, say, "Hey, Dexter, if you drive up here to my studio, I can't pay you, but I'll give you some of these Kevin Nolan pages I'm doing with his Details magazine." So of course I hopped in my car.
Heck yeah.
Drove up and we did an all-nighter. Dave inked the figures. I inked all the backgrounds. And some of the background figures, there was like several pages, but we pulled an all-nighter. Dave used to have a barn beside his house, and the top floor of the barn was his studio. He used to call it Kudzu Tech. We worked all night till the sun came up, and then we was going to rush it back down to Atlanta to drop it off at FedEx and get it to where it needed to go. Now I'm up all night, so I'm like almost about to drive off the road trying to get to this FedEx. So I barely make it to FedEx. I go in, drop the page off, and I tell the people at FedEx, like, "Look, I need to take a nap in your parking lot because I'm not going to make it home." So she was like, "Fine, just gotta, park off to the side there." And,
did she say like, Dave Johnson's done that with us before, so we're used to it.
Right. Right. So I took like a 15-20 minute power nap and then made it on home. So this is what you're saying, people. I almost died for this page. So just FYI on that.
That's funny. Well, we've heard many stories of call out for help with the inkers, right? Just get everybody around a table, and one guy's doing faces, one guy's doing figures, another guy's doing backgrounds. You never know.
I have another page that's here framed.
Oh yeah,
that I'll hang on to.
Good. So here now we're going to switch over. So 16 still available. It's priced at $600. So we've got let's see. Next up, we've got another page from the Terrifics, and this is a DPS as well. We've had this in the first show, lowered it 25% to $450. This is from issue 13, page well, I wrote it in there twice. It's actually pages 2 and 3, and it is blue line with Bennett, but Dex's ink's all over it. I mean, this thing is huge, as a DPS, and then it's just so crazy because the amount of detail it's just packed.
Yeah, I mean, Joe we went crazy with the detail. So it's a fun page. If people, I'm telling you, when people see it in live, you'll be extra blown away how much detail is in these pages.
Definitely. I mean, no, it's awesome. And like you said, he should be in a regular Plastic Man book.
Yeah, he should.
He definitely has an affinity for the character. But yeah, very nice piece, and very impressive in person. So this one is lot 17, priced at $450. Next up, we have this is another blue line piece. This is with Goran. Goran, of course, is a European artist, so back to the whole. It's not like you can get the pencil sent to you. So this was this is a DPS as well. Lot 18, priced at $325 from Thor's issue 3. It's pages 5 and 6. You get Thor, and I'm assuming this is Loki in there as well.
Yeah, doing a little Loki interrogation.
Yep. He should have had. I was going to say he should have had his hammer at the table, but he does have
right
there. So it's just as good. But another
just
fun
had
one.
it and just set it on his toe.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But I'm sorry, reading through the chat a little bit, but at any rate, very nice page. And I've always liked Goran stuff. He's a solid penciler. Met him a few times at San Diego. I think he works with maybe Mark Hay from Splash Page Comic Art, but very nice guy though, and like his work a lot. So this one is available at $325. Then we've got this piece. I didn't put it on the slide when we showed it before. It was from '98, so 25 years old. This is Power Girl Tangent. We've priced this one at $225, lot 19. It's from issue 1, page 18. Dusty Abel pencils and Dex's inks on this one. And we get and on this one, the word balloons are actually pasted on, not drawn on.
But word balloons.
Yeah, I don't think, is this the only page I think we have with word balloons?
It might, from the 90s, yeah.
Yep, there was a point in time right around here where they stopped doing it. But
because if you knew better, if you got pages, because the pencil used to send the pages to the company, they would letter them, then send it to the inker. And then eventually
I've never heard that before, but that's interesting. It makes sense. I mean,
because you would, if you knew at DC, if you got pages that hadn't been lettered and you said so, they would actually have to pay you a little extra. So, but they would only pay you if you knew about it. So it's one of those things. If you mentioned it, hey, this page is unlettered, then they would bump. I think it was like an extra $10 to $15 per page. For
that should be
unlettered
written
pages.
into the agreement when the lettering's all digital, you just get the bump without having to ask.
Right.
And I know, I get it. Never works that way. But here we got 2 more lots to look at. Here's lot 20. This is it is actually from that same issue before. This is a blue line, but we do not have the pencils for this one. With Sprouse blue lines and Dex's inks on this one. We had this at $225. Fun page. You get Storm on it as well. Get Black Panther in what was it, in 3 of the panels, I believe. So just a good page. A little bit of action, and it is from the same issue as we had earlier. But I guess Chris didn't have the pencils for this one. He gave them away somewhere.
Right.
But fun stuff. I mean, who doesn't like the way you've handled the tree and the leaves, and it's definitely well done. And I love the second panel in there too.
Thank you. That was fun stuff. And I love those spider people in that last panel. That's crazy.
You wouldn't want to. That's not anybody you'd want to come into battle with. Is all those crazy.
Right.
Yeah. No, insects are. I live in Florida, man. So I'm learning all about ugly looking bugs. It seems like.
Oh yeah, I lived in Tampa, and they can get up on the 3rd floor. One time I left some syrup out, and I came home one day and I saw like this line. I was like, "What is that? A crack in the?" And as I got closer, the lines were moving, and literally had come up the 3rd floor through the window, found the syrup bottle, and they had made a nice little train from the window. I was like, wow, I did not think ants would crawl up all the way up here, but they did in Florida.
Well, yeah, I'm learning.
That was a lesson learned.
Oh man, well that one's still out there, lot 20, and we got one more here to look at, and this one was from Crime Syndicate. This is another Blue Line piece priced at $225. Kieran McCown's Blue Line pencils, and you got Dex's inks on this one. I remember, I think we had another page or two from this one last time. It seemed like a very fun story to work on, and Kieran's pencil, pencil art is really nice. So it must have been fun.
Yeah, he killed the
first time working with Kieran.
Yeah, we worked on a few projects after this. We started on Crime Syndicate, and then we did a few projects for DC, and then we did a 4-issue project for Dark Horse, actually, Eve Online. It's based off of an MMO video game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were a team for like 2 years, kind of doing stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Well, this is a nice piece priced at $225, lot 21. And Anvil RPG says Dex is a machine. What a massive talent. Thank you, Anvil, for saying that.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and just kind of go through the pieces that didn't sell to recap it for everybody. If you're watching the show after the fact, as always happens, this is a weekend show. If you see something that you wasn't claimed, you can just shoot me an email, bill@comicartfans.com, and inquire about its availability, and I can let you know if it's still available. You can always claim them after the show too. And anybody here, don't forget, I want you to email me after the show, bill@comicartfans.com, with the list that you bought, and include your mailing address, and preferably let me know which method of payment you'd like to do too. So let me swing through these rather quickly. Lot 1 did sell, so we got lot 2 next. This is from Black Panther 17. We get the pencils and the Blue Line ink. So here's the Blue Line ink page, and then here's the same page penciled. Both around 11 by 17, like everything it was tonight. I know I didn't include that in the slide, but it's a given, I guess, when I don't mention it. But so lot 2 is available at $500, and then we've got lot 3 here next with same issues, consecutive page. This is page 6, priced at $500. You get the Blue Line inks and the pencils as well from Chris here. So very nice to get both of those. And we have lot 4 still available. The Buffy page, excuse me. So from season 11, issue 4, page 10, priced at $300. You get George's pencils and Dex's inks on that one. And then from the same Buffy season 11, this is from issue 9, page 18, and it's lot 5, priced at $200. And again, George's pencils and Dex's inks on that one. And I see Winter Powell has claimed lot 4. Thank you, Winter.
Thank you, Winter.
Winter's collection continues to get better and better.
She does. But Winter's she's a hardcore Buffy fan. Thanks again, Winter.
And she mentioned she meant 5, so no problem, Winter. I will just shift it down to 5. We appreciate that.
Winter's from the A2. What's up, Winter? Thanks again.
Awesome. So let's see, 6, 7, 8, and 9 were all picked up, so we can take a look at lot 10 next. That was the Red Robin issue, and it was with Marcus too. And I didn't. I guess I screwed it up. This was your first time working with him. Lot 10 priced at $300. You can get Ra's al Ghul in there, and looking menacing as always. So then we have, what do we have next? Oh, lot 11. This is the one that Nick was curious about. And nobody else was willing to pick it up. So it's still out there. Lot 11 at $350. Spider-Verse Team Up issue 2, page 10, with Dave Williams. And and I see a claim from Detective 545. Did you claim lot 10? Now let me go back and look at it. Now I'm getting. I didn't write lot 10. I must have missed that claim. I'm sorry, Nick. So Nick says that. All right. Hey, I apologize. I was looking at the chat and I probably missed it. So I'm sorry to Detective if I missed that one earlier as well. So and hey, we make mistakes here sometimes. That's why I need a spotter. When we do the Dueling Dealers show on Wednesday nights, I have my daughter and my wife watching the chat because this is the first time I've actually goofed on my own. So I apologize to everybody in the chat for that one. All right, so I'm going to move back to lot 11. So Jeff says he thinks 9 is still available. Is that true? Let me look at 9. Hey, I don't want to make any any mistakes here. I thought, maybe that's what I did. Maybe I noted it as lot 9 when it was actually 10. So there you go. I think that's where my mistake happened. I knew Nick had gotten one of them. So lot 9 is still available then, if that's true, unless somebody's going to tell me I made another mistake. All right. So lot 9 is still out there. This is the Mandalorian piece with George's pencils and Dex's inks. It is priced at $600. Yes, it's Gina with an exclamation point, Marcus. All right. So 10 is out of there, and we've got back to lot 11. That was a Spider-Verse page. Dave Williams pencils, Dex's inks, priced at $350. So that one's still available. Then 12 was picked up by Detective, so we can take a look at 13 next. That was the Carlos Pacheco and Dexter Vines inks on Ultimate Avengers 3, page 6, lot 13, priced at $300. And we also had from a couple issues later, Carlos's pencils again on this one, lot 14, priced at $400, with the ominous Red Skull, frightening little children there throughout with the Cosmic Cube. This one, again, lot 14, priced at $400. And I'm noting that, let's see, I'm circling back to the chat so I don't miss anything. Yes, Jason's even telling me to, we've got claims. Nick said he'll take lot 11 since no one else wants to pick that one up. And Winter Powell says that she'll take both 4 and 5.
Thanks again, Winter. Thanks again, Nick.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Thank you so much, both of you. And thank you, Jason, for keeping an eye on things for me. Jason's gonna be my unofficial spotter from now on every Saturday when I do a show.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, so we've got 13 and 14 are still out there, the Pacheco pieces.
And it's weird. They've actually got these pages from Carlos in Spain. So this was to, I guess, certain people they would still, overseas, I would still get pages from. So
yeah. Well, hey, the dealers I work with on Wednesday say it'll sell on my website later. Well, we'll see. It'll probably sell later after the show is over. But so 13 and 14 are still out there. 15 was picked up by Detective, and then we've got lot 16 here. That was that Kevin Nolan penciled and Dave Johnson and Dex combined inks on this piece. It was in Details magazine. It was like a MasterCard ad. It was funny when I showed this piece. I didn't know what it was because it didn't have anything written at the top, right? And somebody in the audience, because I just so you know, Dex, I did an unboxing on the CAF update the Thursday before last. I'm like, hey, that's kind of a teaser of what we had, and I looked at it, I'm like, I know it's Kevin Nolan, but I don't know what it's from. And somebody actually knew. They were like, oh, it's from Details magazine. So
wow, nice. Yeah,
I was like, wow.
He whips out a MasterCard. So
that's the giveaway, but I had no idea. So at least it's known.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere, but I cannot find it. So,
well, this let's see. So this one is still out there, and Detective is claiming lot 21. So we haven't gotten over to that one yet, but Detective, cool. That's great. I'll remind everybody what that was when we get there. Let's see. Original Drink and Draw Social Club. Hey, nice to have you guys here. They wanted to know if do you know who lettered it, because they think it looks like Kevin's lettering too.
I think Kevin lettered it also.
Oh, sweet. Well, then that's that makes it even more unique, doesn't it? That's interesting, huh? I wonder how Kevin got the gig, right? I mean,
Kevin does a lot of his lettering in his books. He created. I don't know if people know he's the designer of the Hellboy logo for Mike Mignola.
Yeah. No, so, I did know that. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I've got a show with Kevin. I think in the first weekend in November. I'm gonna ask.
Okay, awesome.
I'm gonna save that slide and ask him about that project. Then that's interesting.
Definitely, yeah, dude. I would definitely love to hear it from his end on that story. So definitely.
So all right, what do we got here? That was 16. So we got a couple others here. We got 17 left. That was from the Terrifics, Joe Bennett, Blue Line pencils and Dex's inks on it. It's from issue 13, and it's pages 2 and 3. The slide's a little wrong there. Priced at $450. Then we had the other DPS that you brought. That was lot 18, priced at $325 from Thor's issue 3, pages 5 and 6, with Goran Suzuka's Blue Line pencils and Dex's inks on that one. Then lot 19 went to Detective, and then the only one we've got left is that Black Panther page from issue 17, page 9, Blue Line pencils from Mr. Sprouse and Dex's fine inks on it. This one is priced at $225. And I'll remind everybody the piece that Detective picked up too. This lot 21 went for $225 as well. So yeah, very thank you everybody. And
thank you everyone. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you.
Very, very nicely done. I mean, I think we hit about 65% sold. So that's not a bad live show. And as everybody knows, you're watching afterwards, you can hit me up with an email, bill@comicartfans.com, and I'm happy to let you know if any other pieces that didn't sell live are still available. And Drink and Draw Social Club mentions that inking Joe Bennett is not an easy assignment.
No, but fun. So.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, you know, we Dex and I really appreciate your support today. You know, we had a great first show, and I've had a great second show, and I would imagine, Dex, we're going to probably do another one of these sometime in the winter. It seems like we're about 4 or 5 months out, so it'll be good to do another one. But today was great. Winter Pal, Detective, Nick, who else? Justin. Thank you all for picking up pieces.
Thank you guys.
We really thank you. Yeah. And hit me up with an email after the show. And again, we really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We have taken time out of a weekend to hang out and look at artwork as always. I need to do a Roseanne meme, Jason. You've overstepped your boundaries as my as my scout in the chat right there, my friend. But anyways, Dex, thank you for doing this with me. Always appreciate it, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you, everybody. We'll see you again.